Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody. My name is Tyler Maldonado, and today I'll be performing a seminar called Electronic Communication is Here to Stay. Now before we get started, I'd like to ask you people, what do you think are some of the most important forms of electronic communication that are being utilized in the business today? Okay, I got emails, alright, video conferencing, text messages, alright, teleconferencing, good, instant messaging, very good. Alright, now these are all great examples, and I will actually be discussing 3 of these. Before we get started, I would like to do a brief overview with you. I'm going to identify the types of electronic communication. I'm going to show you how to effectively use each type of electronic communication, and I'm going to show you what to avoid when using these forms of electronic communication. Alright, the 3 major forms that I believe are most applicable in business today. Email obviously is huge. You probably send daily emails, I'm guessing all of you. Text messaging and instant messaging, these have more personal uses. However, instant messaging especially is being utilized heavily in the business today, and text messaging is right behind. So watch out for these 2 forms. They are going to be heavily used in the near future. First thing we're going to talk about is emails and the effective use of emails. First, y'all need to have an established company policy. You might already have this, okay, but if not, you need to create one and you need to abide by it. This will help protect you in every way possible. Next, subject lines. You need to have a specific subject line, okay? Don't just put question just because you have a question. Put question about sales report, question about proposal, okay? Don't just leave it ambiguous, okay? You need to have it specific. Also, you need to check your emails and see how they look. Don't just send it as soon as you're done typing. You need to preview this email if you can and see what the receiver is going to see, okay? Also, when replying to messages, include the previous message, okay? Don't erase this message. It is easy to reference. The person you're replying to will know exactly what y'all were talking about in the previous message, and it can be a lifesaver, honestly. Last, name your attachments in detail. Don't just put attachment 1, attachment 2. Make sure you have a specific name and make sure that you know where these attachments are being saved. Again, you might have to reference this, you might have to resend the attachment, and it's just going to be easier if you know exactly where it is. Alright, now the ineffective uses of email. Do not be sending anything that can be construed as offensive. If you think it's a little bit offensive, automatically don't send it. If you think anybody else could possibly find it offensive, don't send it. People don't think that they're being watched, but your emails can be seen, okay? So just to save and protect yourself, don't send anything offensive. Also, BCCs are way better than CCs. CCing, the problem with CCing is it shows everybody's email who you are sending. Now, some people don't like their emails to be seen by others, and sometimes you shouldn't be showing everybody who you're sending that email to. Alright, no confidential information. Oh, I skipped one. Scams and virus warnings. Okay, now, everybody gets warnings about scams and viruses. You know, don't click on the email with this subject name. Don't forward these. It is just a waste of your time, basically. And honestly, most of these are hoaxes anyway, so there's really no point. Now we're going to talk about the confidential information. This should be a given. Do not send any of your confidential information, or a client or a business partner. Don't send any confidential information about anybody. There are hackers that can infiltrate your systems no matter how secure you think they are. So just do not be sending any confidential information. Last, in recent years, capital letters are seen as yelling in text. As stupid as this may sound, do not use capital letters, okay? Because this is universal now. Anybody, if you send one to Europe in capital letters, they're going to think you're yelling at them, okay? So just don't do it. Next thing we're going to talk about, text messages, okay? Effectively using text messages. Be professional in your text messages. Don't talk like you're talking to a buddy on the weekend. You know, what's up, man, lol. Don't throw those in there. Be professional, okay? Also, be short and to the point. Alright? Do not be sending 4-page text messages. Even 2 pages is too long. People do not want to read this. They might not get read. but they definitely will be annoyed, okay? Also, appropriate timing. Make sure that you are not texting somebody, late after business hours. They might be having dinner with their family. It's just not good to even text after business hours, okay? Also, use proper grammar and spelling. Just show that you are able to write. This is a reflection of you and the company, okay? So just don't be using, no commas. You need to be using commas. You need to be using proper punctuation and grammar. Ineffective text messaging. Now, make sure that the situation can call for a text. Don't text something that you should say in person or at least say on the phone, okay? That is just seen as completely rude. Also, gain permission. Now don't, especially when it comes to clients, don't just text them out of the blue. You need to be sure that it is all right for you to text them, okay? Because if not, they can see this as very, very intrusive. Again, going back to being professional, no shorthand. If you're going to be late, don't write I will be L and the number 8. Write it out. That's just pure laziness. Also, no texting during a business lunch. You shouldn't be on the phone at all during a business lunch with a client. Now, if you're with a buddy who you work with and you're very casual with this person, maybe it's okay. But especially with a client, do not be texting at a business lunch. And again, we're going to talk about this, no capital letters. It is yelling these days universally, okay? So do not be using capital letters. Now, effective instant messaging. Instant messaging, like I said, is being used more and more today by companies. And you probably have an established company policy, as do most people. Abide by this again, and you will not be in any kind of trouble. Also, again, keep information confidential. It is even easier for somebody to get a hold of confidential information. You don't even know who you're talking to some of the time. So make sure you're not sending anything confidential from you or from a client or from anybody. Also, save an instant message when it's necessary. And if you can save it, you might as well save it for a while at least so you can reference it back if you need to. This can be very helpful. Again, keep your messages simple and short. Don't be writing 3 paragraphs. Okay, these are reserved for emails, or you need to just say this on the phone, or in person. Don't be writing 4 or 5 paragraph instant messages. Last, make sure that the people you're trying to chat with have the time to chat. Okay, don't just try to chat them at any time. You need to make sure that you're engaging them at an appropriate time. Ineffective instant messaging. Keep away from personal messaging, messaging your family, friends. I mean, one or two here and there is okay, but don't have long, lengthy, 2-hour-long conversations with your friends. Also, don't rush people who you're instant messaging. If you send a message and you're waiting for a response, don't send that same message 5 minutes later. Give them time, okay? Because if you keep flooding them with messages, they're going to get annoyed and you might not get a response. Also, when you are instant messaging, don't be personalizing your font and the background color of your text box. This is just a waste of time, and it's showing people that you're wasting your time doing this. Okay? It's just inappropriate and unnecessary. Look out for unfamiliar requests of information, unneeded requests of information, and also if they're asking you to download something that you're just kind of skeptical about, don't do it. Last, again, when the situation calls for an instant message, it's okay. But do not type something that you should say aloud, okay? This is extremely, extremely rude in many cases. Now we're going to summarize a little bit. I have this handout here for everyone. I'll pass these around. Basically, it has the 3 major forms of electronic communication and the effective and ineffective uses of each. Okay, and while I'm passing these around, you can ask me questions. You can just shout or raise your hand. It doesn't matter. Very informal. But I'd like to thank everybody, and hopefully you will all take great information from this seminar. All right? Thank you all. Have a good day.